Hello everyone and welcome to the LSI F1.5 EU Championship. We're today for the Belgian Grand Prix, round 10 out of 12. Now, this man on your screen, if they win here today, as Terence is not competing, then Frantic is the EU champion. One win is all they need to take it, and it is all done. Anything less, Terence can take it into the next two rounds. But we'll see. Of course, it's 20 points at the moment. If they get 20 points as a win today in LSI, then that will be a 40-point advantage, and Terence can only score 40 points in 2 races. And with more wins on the board already, Frantic would take that championship title. Now, they're set up nicely, looking at the qualifying times for sure, but last week they had a pretty disastrous moment where the strategy went completely wrong in Saudi Arabia. It was looking to be a victory for sure. It didn't happen, as their rival wasn't at the race either. Terence missing out that Saudi Arabian Grand Prix and is missing today. That's a brilliant lap from Frantic, and they're very happy with that one as they wiggle the steering wheel. A 41.976, miles ahead of the rest of the field, 8 tenths from Bernisen in P2. Then we've got Ed Veer, we've got Yanaldi in P4, and we've got Mark Tunick racing for the first time in P5. Then we've got Wait 1 Minute, Elwain, Gladio, Foster, Gegner on debut, and then Verf racing as a higher tier driver. Let's see how it goes for everybody. Currently, Ed Veer is, I believe, on an in-lap, although they've got not much battery left, so I'm not sure if they're pushing. No, they've backed off in the last moment or so, and we will go on board with Gladio, who is finishing a lap. Let's see what they can do across the line, and it's going to be an improvement by almost a second, a 42.837, and that is what we want to see from the Ferrari driver. Can they keep this good momentum up into the race? We'll find out very soon. It is Elwain on a lap now. Up the hill they go, and into the Lecombe chicane. That'll be their next target. Having good pace here and there, looking to try and get to that podium spot. They've already had a P2, they've already had a P3. Sorry, no, actually, they won here last time around in Saudi Arabia. And it's all looking good for Williams. Briscoe Jr. winning earlier on today, and Elwain winning last week. Sorry, earlier on yesterday. Elwain winning last week. It's currently a Williams domination. Can they do the double? A brilliant, brilliant drive. After Frantic had that issue with the strategy call in Saudi Arabia, just allowed them to take that one home. They're looking to continue with the good momentum. Currently sat in P8, and they've only got, well, what's going to be realistically one lap here in qualifying. 2 minutes on the clock around a long circuit like Spa-Francorchamps. You're not going to get another chance at this stage. They're not using the battery, so I'm not entirely sure if they're going to try and save and go again for one final run, or they're just waiting on the battery usage. Pretty late, and they're going to be blasting it all the way up to the line. What's it going to be for Elwain as they do get there, but there's a big bit of over-rotation. And it's going to be 7.5 tenths improvement with half a battery still to go. Elwain in P6. Frantic is not willing to improve once more, and they didn't feel that they could, so that's that done for Frantic. Elwain's going to be done with qualifying. They cannot improve. It's Verf in the pit lane, and it is Gladio also finished with the session. We have one of the Haas's, I say one of the Haas's, Gegner on their way on to the final lap, and we'll see what the brand new driver can do on debut. Up the hill they'll go. DRS will be enabled just as they pass it. And along the Kemmel Straight, high speed, especially on lap 1 when you're following the other cars directly in front of you, and then braking as hard as you possibly can whilst dancing with the curbs as they try and chuck you left and right. Manage it nicely. Slowly apply the throttle to make sure you don't lose that rear end too much, and then downhill trying to avoid locking up those tyres. And feeding the car through nicely, getting all the way up to the white line, and once more again on the exit. looking to try and nail this one, but you immediately go into a following corner. Pouon flat out, looking to hit the inside curb if you can. You could end your entire session if you hit it the wrong way. And so far, they've managed to keep it tidy. Are they improving? Well, they go through Piff Paff and they come down through Paul Ferrell. Let's see what they can do before they get to the final section of the circuit. Half a tenth improvement here for the Haas driver, and they would look to get ahead of Fossa. Would they look to get ahead of Way 1 Minute? Not quite. They're going to need to find a lot more time than that. They've got the bus stop chicane after Blanchimont here. Flat left-hander. Here's the chicane. Avoid the bump on entry, and then just bleed it through. The rotation's going to be brutal. Looks smooth so far. Oh, a little bit of a loss on the rear end across the line. What's it going to be? And it's going to be a half a tenth improvement, and they do get ahead of Fossa in the end. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Not quite able to get to Way 1 Minute. Who's going to be going across the line next? It looks like it's going to be the Ferrari of Mark Tunick in P7, followed by one of the Sauber cars, and we'll see what Way 1 Minute can do next after. It is Mark Tunick. Gladio's teammate was already done. P3 for them. Mark across the line. DRS open, and it's going to be a P7. They aren't able to improve. That's the Sauber into the pit lane. It's going to be Way 1 Minute, their teammate, up very shortly, but it's actually Yinaldi who's invalidated, and they won't be able to improve. That would have been a 42.1, and that would have been absolutely perfect for P2. It's not going to happen in the end. Way 1 Minute across the line. They go to P2. Absolutely amazing stuff from the Sauber. It's Yinaldi, the final car to improve, the final car to set a lap, and it looks good. It looks like it's going to be progress. Where's it going to put them? And it's going to be to P4. Edveer goes across the line. They missed out a little bit just at the end. They could have had a go at P3, even maybe P2. But that is a brilliant improvement from Way 1 Minute in the last second to get everything done and dusted. To P2 they go. Frantic, setting their pole position time earlier on, will start in front, but as we saw yesterday, P2 is effectively pole position. Way 1 Minute is in pole position for the Belgian Grand Prix. Frantic on pole position by half a second. It's Way 1 Minute in P2 and Bernison in P3. That's the rest of the grid, and we'll go through the race director just in case. We'll be back in a bit for the race. Ready, hold, go! no, who's going to get it into turn one? Frantic on the inside line. It's a good launch. It's side by side. Surely with someone behind, it's going to be Edvir all the way to the inside as the Red Bull is squirming a little bit. Contact here and there with a few. Further behind, it's all a little bit difficult as well for Gegner all the way down the order after the start, but a brilliant launch from Frantic. Way 1 minute is in prime position to take that top spot away. Do they have the straight line speed? Do they have the ERS? They do so. It's the inside line for the Sauber, and it's going to be the position as Frantic backs off and lets it happen, but it might be a switchback. Is there going to be a possibility to Frantic for a move to the inside line? Down the hill it won't be. They'll just have to wait behind. Further behind, though, we've got Verf, who's trying to make progress already on the field. They're on the inside line of Fossa, now the outside, and now they're going to try and go the long way, but they've been shown the gravel just momentarily. They've taken avoidant action by themselves, and they lose that position to Yanaldi. They'll try and make the progress once more if they can on that hard tyre, I should say. That's the race start, and the camera work wasn't ideal, the commentary wasn't optimal, but we're now back into it, and hopefully we can relax and set into the rhythm of this race. As Way 1 minute leads the way, everybody in the top 8 on medium tyres. Other than that, it's all hards for Gegner, Yanaldi and Verf in P9, 10 and 11. Frantic looks to the right hand side, but no movement from Way 1 minute. They knew that Alpine wouldn't be going for the move at that point on the circuit. That in the background is Mertz losing the car a little bit pretty aggressively. It's the inside line being held now, though, defensive into the first corner by Way 1 minute. The Swiss driver trying to hold on, but they know that DRS is about to kick in and they could possibly lose 2 positions if they're not careful. Edvir, can they spot the opportunity to get a move done as well? Frantic is going to have that move very early on completed. I say that, it's a drag race. There you go, the rear wing's open, and now it all goes down to Edvir. Will they pass the Sauber car? They won't. There will not be a contest, and it's all good to go for them. There's Verf making the progress, and they do eventually get ahead of the Sauber of Fossa, and now they're trying to hunt down the following medium tyre runners, as all of these cars are all in a train P1 to P7. Enjoying this one. It's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough, especially if you dip a wheel on the grass. Frantic finds the clean air. Oh, and Way 1 minute gets a time penalty. Unfortunately, the first time penalty runner of the evening. Way 1 minute currently sitting P2 and now away from the DRS train. Frantic's been unleashed, and they have shown their pace already in the first half a lap, and that's been enough to break away from DRS range, and I don't think anybody's going to have an answer at this stage, especially if you've got the driver in P2 who's trying to keep up. He's borderline keeping up, but getting a time penalty. That's tough to take. That's very tough to take. In the background, we've had some sort of issue. That's Fossa, unfortunately, down the order, and they've dropped behind even further. That is frustrating. It's going to be some movement as Gladio is down the order. There's progress. There's demotion going on the inside line for the Williams as Elwain's going to have a look, but no. Gladio will hold it around the outside and stay in front. Bernst just sat behind this watching it happen. They can't do anything about it. DRS though should be available for Elwain, as it won't be available for Gladio. Hopefully for these guys they're able to get back into the train, but it's going to be very difficult to do so. It's going to be marked to the inside line of the McLaren, and there's a bit of contact. I think there was a bit of confusion as where everybody was going there, and Edvir does lose that position in the end. Gladio, for their sake, after using probably all of their battery, the fortune did find them, and they've ended up seeing a few cars in front battle it out, and now the DRS range is almost available, but it is just a 1/10 of a second difference, and you will be out of the train. Currently, Verf back into this battle from earlier on in the opening lap, and they're now going to try and see if they can make progress through a big old DRS train whilst being on the opposite tyre, which isn't going to be easy in the opening laps, but they are an LSI F1 winner and previously a title contender. Frantic now breaking it to 2 seconds. Finding an entire second in a lap. It's now Mark Tunick ahead. Oh, of Edveer, and is looking to go for the lead on the Kemmel Straight, but no. They've missed their braking point. They go into the back of way 1 minute, and that is as difficult as it gets. Now Yinaldi is sat right behind them and is going to be looking to try and make a move very shortly. But it's Edveer who's once again promoted back in front and is now directly behind way 1 minute, and we'll see if any progress can be made. Elwain looks like they're pretty racy at the moment. They're going to go for the move surely on the Ferrari, and then we'll go back to this battle as Yinaldi wants to have a look at Mark. It's going to be the outside line for Verve. It's going to be no position behind. It's going to be Bernst defending, and they do stay ahead. And there it is, though. Yinaldi goes for the move. The inside line's chosen. They still fight it side by side. The Ferrari goes off. They're never going to hold it around like that, and they have to give the position up. That's a brilliant move there for Yinaldi. Mark giving it everything they possibly can after a difficult few corners since that contact with way 1 minute into the bus stop chicane. They've got pace, they know they've got pace, but they just can't find the right place to make it work. Burns getting a time penalty. That's the second one of the evening. Lap 4 to 22. We've got a long way to go in this Grand Prix. It's just how it goes sometimes. If you're in a train, it can be complicated, it can be very difficult. I'm not sure if Mark has any damage on this car. Visually, no, but it's definitely a hefty hit that could have affected the performance. That's now just under another second brought from Frantic, 0.8 of a second a lap, faster than the rest of the field. Bernst and Verf do go side by side, and they eventually sort themselves out. That was a little bit of a battle for sure over the last couple of laps. Bernst did not want to allow the higher tier driver to go through. We'll just update you on the situation. A higher tier driver will score a different point system to a current tier driver. They score to wherever they finish, whereas the current tier drivers, they just basically discount all higher tier drivers. Oh, that's going to be contact into the wall. Oh no, Gladio defends at the last minute, and it was not going to work out. It drags Elwain across the circuit, and then all of a sudden Gladio had no control of the car. The full safety car has been brought out, and demon dragging strikes once again. Elwain fortunately doesn't have any damage, but of course when you're involved in an incident, it does affect you. Frustration will build, but hopefully it doesn't affect the rest of their race. And Gladio, well, they should be okay after a bit of reflection, but that's frustrating. Gladio having a very good start after some difficult races throughout the season. They've definitely made a lot of progress, and we would have loved to have seen them make it to the end of the Grand Prix. That's the first retirement, and that is the safety car deployed. Now, Frantic, slightly frustrated, I'm sure, because the safety car is going to bring the entire field together, and they've got a complicated decision to make with the strategy. You can take the hards all the way to the end of the Grand Prix. There's no question about it. Way 1 minute is going to try and do something completely different. Whether they've missed the pit lane or not, they're going slowly. They're going to be P1. And yeah, that's complicated. Verf is going to basically, overtake the entire field. They're going to have direct firing line while sitting behind way 1 minute on the start and hope for clean air. And they'll be on some hard tyres that are going to be pretty good to go, to be honest. Now, the rest of the field, Frantic is currently out on fresh, hard tyres. And then We've got a medium from Mark, who after their difficulties in this race is looking for a switch up on the strategy. Of course, they were up the front of the field, but they've gone for the second set of medium tyres. Now, that's an interesting call for sure, to go for that tyre. Yanoldi's going to try and go as long as they possibly can. Way 1 minute's got one pit stop to make. Frantic's got none. Neither is Edvir, Elwain, Bernison or Bossa. It's going to be tough on the mediums. I guess not impossible, but really tough. We just don't know how good those tyres are going to be, the hards, in the final laps of this race. And how Verf is going to deal with it is going to be interesting for sure. Way 1 minute's tyres are definitely going to be pretty old by the time we restart this race on the following lap, lap 8 out of 22. But that's the strategy call they've made, and they're going to stick to it for now. Now Frantic, the championship leader, if they win today, they are the F1.5 EU champion of season 13. They're looking to make this one work. So although they're in a very strong position and they've not really got too much pressure at all, they want to get the job done. And now this change in rhythm of the race, that was going definitely their way, is now going to be a little bit extra to think about that they didn't really want to think about. Frantic looking to do the same as their teammate did from a few years ago in F1.22 Pursuit. Race to that championship. Earning the famous, I say famous title, more of a famous situation, just being really good at the Australian Grand Prix circuit, Albert Park. Frantic's really good at interviews. Way 1 minute is going to be the one to restart this race, and we wait for the call from the race director, and the safety car will be on their way in. Now, this is it. The restart that Way 1 minute's been waiting for. The safety car's into the pit lane now. They can go at any point. The Sauber looking for the very different strategy. Are they going to make this work? And how quickly can Verf get through on the faster tyre at this stage of their Grand Prix? We're racing once again in Belgium. It's a bit of a squirmy one, but it's still a good start. There's a car off in the background. Oh, a big issue for Fossa as they go down the order and plummet away with Gegner in the background as well. I'm not entirely sure what the situation was. It's Verf who looks for the move. Frantic is following as well. ERS and Slipstream will be used. Frantic's going to try and follow through and see if they can make use of the manoeuvre too. It's going to be side by side, but no. Wait 1 minute, does back out. The switchback will be available. The grip will be available. Frantic looks to the outside line, but has to back out as they keep their front wing on. And they're not going to risk that one, but they do risk it down the inside. It's going to be possible, and surely they've got the grip into the following corners. Wait 1 minute is going to hold that one, and they do take the position back, but not for long. The traction's there. Puon's up next, and it's going to be the Sauber backing out to allow one position only to be conceded. But now it's going to be Elwain looking left, looking right to try and have a go. They can't find a way through. Frustration kicks in, and they'll have to wait as Frantic's going to have an opportunity to escape. Edvir 1.2 seconds away. I'm not entirely sure who it was who went off, but it looked like it was the Sauber car of Fossa, and that's maybe what happened to getting off the start as well. Elwain just sitting behind, can't do anything about this one at the moment. It is going to be, though, a switch up, as it's going to be Mark Tunick switching it all up and going for the move instead. Oh, that's never going to happen. Elwain makes a mistake, and they stick their front wing in by accident on a teammate that had a similar situation. No, sorry, it was Mark Tunick who had a similar situation earlier on. It's now side by side between the two teammates, and it's going to be a drag race up the hill. A moment on the traction allows Yanaldi to get straight through, and now, well, nothing's really changed for Mark, as they've just got a Williams behind them regardless. But now they need to try and make a change. They need to make that move on way 1 minute. And so is Yanaldi. They're going to follow as well. That's two positions lost in one corner. And still, Elwain doesn't get through. Almost making contact. Was Bernison in the background there. So it's Elwain and way 1 minute, both losing two positions. The hard tyres for Elwain, whereas it is the mediums for Mark and Yanaldi. It is more understanding with the tyre situation that they're in at the moment. Verf made the move, has broken away, and has very good pace. So some experience kicking in as well from yesterday as well. That will be helpful. That 9 out of 22 in this Grand Prix. It's Mark Tunick in P3 who's looking to try and make the most of this medium tyre. On the strategy that they're on, Yanaldi and Mark have to make sure that they work together and don't fight each other, because they've got a lot of work to do. Wait 1 minute, can't hold on to the DRS train. So it is going to be Elwain who would prefer to look for the move at some point soon, but they have to wait behind for now. DRS will maybe not be available for Yanaldi at this point, as they make a mistake and they're not able to hold on to the back of the Ferrari car. Way 1 minute is doing their best to obliterate these tyres to their last moment. It's going to be the pit lane, and it's Edvir who did have some sort of issue. So did they have an issue on the safety car restart? Not entirely sure, but the Dutchman once again finds himself having a few troubles here and there. And that's also Foster into the pit lane with a new front wing also. And there it is though. Elwain makes the move, and so does Bernison on way 1 minute. And that medium tyre is just getting worse and worse and worse, and surely a pit stop is needed by the Sauber car at some point soon. They've already made one pit stop in the last couple of laps. They've made two pit stops in the last couple of laps, and they're now going to be looking to make another one in a not too far distant time. Yanaldi back within DRS range of Mark, 1.2 seconds away from Frantic, almost within DRS range, but not quite able to get it. They're not in a position to make a move, and they're risking losing out to DRS range. Bernison is sat right behind Elwain, and they're probably going to be going for the move into the Lacombe chicane at the top of the hill. So we'll watch on board with that in a few moments' time. But just making sure that DRS is available for Yonoldi. It is. Wei 1 minute is into the pit lane. And here is the move. Almost happening a bit too early as they're catching up very rapidly. Switching to the left at the last second. And they do make it work quite nicely. There's the position. And here comes Bernst as it is a defensive throw to the outside line. They're going to have to stop moving so that they can't move once more. And there it is. Bernst makes the move in the end. Up the hill ahead. And now on this tyre to try and take it to the end of the Grand Prix. They have to work together, these two. Otherwise, they're going to have a very, very tough race to the end. They're going to inherit 2 positions. It's just a matter of when. Now, the momentum that Yonoldi has just had is absolutely phenomenal because they're breaking away nicely from Mark and they're trying to catch up to Frantic. Yonoldi on an awkward strategy but showing some brilliant pace after a tough start of this race, coming out of nowhere to make this one happen, but we know it's going to be short-lived with the tyre situation that they're on. Bit of a miss of the apex. Go see Mark stay within DRS range just about, and there it is. Into the source they have it, but actually pushing quite aggressively. The move's been securely made and DRS is no longer. They've had a brilliant first corner and now they try to hold on to Frantic, although Frantic has seemed to pick up the pace at this stage. We saw yesterday around about lap 7 those tyres did switch, and now that hard tyre is only going to get quicker. And Frantic, they should be in a very good position to make this one work and secure this championship title. Red Bull looking to do what they can to get the team's championship. With only one driver though, it's a little bit more complicated than it seemed at first. Alpine not too far away and they will be making progress once again. McLaren not far away either. In theory, with the way Williams have been going, they could have a chance. But that's about it. There's damage limitation here from Byrne, isn't, to try and make this happen into the next couple of races and deny Frantic from taking the double. There's Mark Chunick into the pit lane on that medium tyre, as we'd expect them to pit stop at some point. And now they go on to the hards and they just go flat out to the end of the Grand Prix. It's going to be Yonoldi following suit as well very soon. Edvir looks to try and have a go at Way 1 minute as they're within the tracks, but it's not going to be the easiest of journeys to get past. That being said, they've got no time penalty and they've got the faster tyre at this stage. If they can just try and control the pace ahead of Way 1 minute, then they might be able to, by the end of the Grand Prix, stay in front regarding time penalty range and secure the position. Remember, take away one position from everybody because Verth is a higher tier driver. There's the overtake, and although that's 8th place on the board, it's 7th place in championship order. And that was a good attempt to try and stick it around the outside for Way 1 minute, but it was never going to happen. That's the move done. Edvir in P8 on the faster tyre, trying to make this one work. Frantic leads the way from Yinaldi in P2, a 1.9 to now 2-second gap. That medium tyre needs to be ditched as soon as possible, unless they're really going to try and take it to the end of the Grand Prix, which would be such a risk. They still stay out. They're giving it a good shot. Wayne once again working together with Ben isn't here. And we've got Gignac right now with Mark Junick behind, who's on the fresh hard tyres. They've got a bit of pressure pitting for that medium tyre as well. They are going to have to make that call. But it looks like they want to go a little bit longer than Mark did. DRS available for the Ferrari car. Is there going to be a position already made? Well, there's the inside line. And Mark powers through on DRS and ERS. Hits the brakes and sends it into the corner. The car planted as they go through the left and the right. And the dirty air chucked up at the Haas. Gignac just can't hold on, especially with the grip of those tyres. They're going to have to call it to the pit lane. That being said, the grip of those tyres looks like they're finding their limit, as Mark is pushing to make the most out of the strategy that they're on, which isn't an easy one. 13.7 seconds to the next car in front. They definitely have all the tools available to them to make that one work, but it's one thing to do it. There it is, Verth into the pit lane. Onto the medium tyre they'll go. The more standard strategy from everyone. Frantic is promoted into P1 from where they're hoping to finish this race. Byrne isn't. Now to P2, it's going to be Wayne maybe looking at seeing the leaderboard has been updated, and they're going to hope for maybe an extra position. Verth comes out in P4 quite nicely now on fresh medium tyres. Would we see an overtake for P2? We won't. They'll stay behind for now. 7.2 seconds to Frantic. Frantic absolutely on fire at the moment. I hope not literally, just metaphorically. Wayne currently having the most pressure from anybody behind at the moment. I'll say that. Did they just lag back? Or am I completely out of it? And they've got the most pressure being put on the car in front. It's going to be Fossa retiring, and that's going to be another full safety car deployed. Frantic will go around. Will we see Yinaldi stay out? Yinaldi just made that pit stop, and they're going to have to stay out, surely. They will. That's very frustrating for the Williams driver. Some of the worst timing for making a pit stop. Gignac does go in and takes the opportunity. And they'll look to go to the end of the Grand Prix. Edveer will follow as well. And wait 1 minute. It's not going to take any second invitation into the pit lane. But it's going to be Edveer getting on some old tyres, as they didn't have another set of mediums. which is going to make the rest of their race very difficult. The good news is that the cars in front haven't actually met the safety car at this stage, so that does mean that they're going to be quite nicely within Delta when making a second pit stop, if they make a second pit stop. The bad news is they will go to the back of the pack as they have to pit once more. Way 1 minute is on that soft tyre though. That's going to be an interesting one for them. Verf, they're going to be staying out and likely inheriting the lead. That's if Frantic doesn't pit, of course. What does pit, sorry. If Frantic doesn't pit, then things will be different. But I am going to assume the top three will all make their calls into the pit lane. Frantic will relinquish that position as Verf overtakes 3 cars in 1 pit straight and is now the race leader after what is quite possibly looked like an unfortunately timed safety car, but no, it's perfectly timed as they've not had to make any overtakes since making their pit stop. Frantic on a very complicated strategy on the soft tyre. Is that going to take them to the end of the Grand Prix? I have doubts. I have doubts. It might do. It probably will. But it's going to be a very slow tyre. And once again we see the Dutchman trying to take it to the championship. And they're on the red wall tyre. It didn't work in Saudi Arabia. They have a better chance of it working here today in Spa. But not the best. Byrne isn't now on the fresh hard tyres to push all the way to the end of the Grand Prix. And El Wayne's on an optimal strategy to try and take 2 victories in a row. How about that? A story that would be. El Wayne. As long as Frantic is on a soft compound tyre, El Wayne may have just won a Grand Prix. That stat would be pretty ironic. Byrne isn't with that time penalty. They're going to be kicking themselves with that one now. 3 seconds for all drivers that do have penalties. That's going to weigh 1 minute as well. Now, Mark on the slightly worn hard tyres. Still not the worst tyre to be on. And they can definitely make it work. They'll be decently quick throughout this race. Just not exactly optimal. Both these pit stops really, the pit stop windows have been the most awkward pit stop windows you can possibly get. They're not right at the end, they're not right at the beginning, they're just kind of a little bit into them and a little bit away from the end, so it just makes it really tricky. And with the tyre location, it's just a puzzle that you just can't solve sometimes. Edveer, surely, as they do, go into the pit lane. Gonna get on some fresh tyres. And they've gone as long as they possibly can into this race. Will they go for the soft? Now I can understand that one a little bit more. Although I still wouldn't opt for it. I think this is a more encouraged soft strategy. And Edveer's going to try and find them their way back into this race. Verf leads. It's an Aston Martin 1-2. Frantic will be the one to react. And they'll be on a very quick tyre. Verf at this stage looking to save some tyres so they can freely take this one to the end. as we were told yesterday by the race winner Briscoe Jr. The medium tyres are horrible to take all the way to the end of the Grand Prix, but they're brilliant at the beginning of the stint. Now, that peak performance, the beginning of the stint, will slightly have been taken away from Verf, which is going to be frustrating. But I think considering that they overtook 3 cars without any effort at all, is probably worth it. And when will we go racing? The safety car goes through Blanchimont. Isn't quite there at the pit lane yet. Just warming up the tyres in the final moments. Oh no! Bounced off! And Elwain's chances get even better. Bounced into the wall and retires from the race. I don't know what to say. Absolutely devastating. And Red Bull are now at a big risk of losing this championship. There it is. The restart is done and Verf absolutely phenomenally gets away, and Frantic has been caught off guard there. I don't think they're worried too much about that one because they have just had a very good chance of catching back up to Red Bull in the championship. That's going to be a bit of a movement in the braking zone from the Ferrari. They get a bit of a bonk from Rinaldi, as you'd probably expect, and a switchback available. And they do make that move on the soft tyre. They've got plenty of grip out there. That hard tyre is going to be so difficult to warm up. Up the hill they'll go, and it's going to be a slipstream once more, back for the Ferrari. Will they get the move done though? It's all just a little bit even, and there's contact as they go to the corner. In the background as well, we've got movement happening. It's going to be staying as it is for now. Way 1 minute will be in front, and then it's Gegner followed by Edvir, who wants to have a go on this soft tyre, but they just can't find a way through yet. The Haas car is a little bit too difficult to find a way past. And Frantic doing everything that they need to on this soft tyre to make it work. Then we've got Elwain in P3, and with Frantic's tyre situation, they might be able to make this one work as long as they don't have any mistakes. Rinaldi absolutely optimising their situation as well, as they've been promoted because Bernst is out of this race. Mark Tunick trying their best to make this hard tyre work, and they've been able to hold on ahead of Way 1 minute for now, but the DRS is going to kick in. Rinaldi made that move and they are now breaking away. Edvir ahead of the Haas car and on their way forward as well on the freshest soft compound tyre. So they should have a good chance in this Grand Prix, if anyone is to have a chance. But making a move next should be Way 1 minute. That being said, Frantic is actually very close to the race leader and looks to try and optimise their strategy. And Frantic goes up the hill. ERS is being used, and DRS is surely going to be enabled. That move is being made, and they do go to the inside line. Frantic side by side with Verf, and it is a switch, and it's a pretty simple one for sure. We go darting back quickly as Way 1 minute finds the inside line. Oh, and they've just broken late enough. A switchback is available. Mark Tunick's going to have to look left and right. It's not going to work out. They tried to cross it, but it wouldn't happen. And that is a brilliant move from Way 1 minute, with all the aggression you need and nothing more to make it work. Getting into the gravel, but not into a side pod. That's just perfect, isn't it? Lovely stuff from the Sauber car on that soft tyre. Is their race going to switch up? Are they going to see a bit of a slow point kick in at some point soon, because those tyres are getting old? It's Edvir trying to find progress as well on the Ferrari car. Oh, and that's never going to work out. They're going to have to look for the bus stop chicane or the DRS straight. Depends on if they think they can hold on to the back of the Sauber and maintain DRS range. I'm not entirely sure if they can with the amount of battery that they've got, but they can't find a way through on the Ferrari. And they just slot in behind for now, pushing a long mark through the corners. The outside line's now being chosen. No battery for either driver. Oh, and he's going to the middle of the circuit as they go side by side into the braking zone. That's an interesting one for Ed Vitt. There's damage in the background there. It looked like somebody's front wing was flying off. Have we seen an issue? We have. From Way 1 Minute, who I think has collided with the inside wall at turn 1. And that brings all the other cars around them into a battle. But it's going to be Mark who goes to the inside line. And surely the position is going to be regained at that kind of speed. And it will be. The soft tyre has worked, but only just enough to make it for a moment. And the grip will slowly be thrown away as Mark will find the pace once more. Frantic did return that position to Verf in the end. Lap 21 out of 22, the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix, and 2.5 seconds ahead of Elwain. Elwain's strategy did look very good, I have to say. It was looking strong, but I think I've just misjudged this soft tyre, and it's maybe a bit better than we thought it would be. Yanaldi, in fact, is now ready to try and attack their teammates. A brilliant battle. This is for P2, Verf a higher tier driver. They're going to be taken out of the standings. It's Frantic P1 for the current tier drivers. It's Elwain, Yanaldi, Way 1 Minute, Marcinek, Ed Vitt and Gegner. Now, Elwain and Yanaldi looking to switch positions already before we've even got through the rest of the lap. Absolutely incredible between the two teammates, and Elwain just lets that one happen for now. Oh, and it's all a bit squirmy on the exit for their teammate. It's going to be side by side, but surely backing off to get the DRS range. No, Yanaldi is not going to be there. It's all very tricky. Further behind us, Way 1 Minute's ghosted for a second. Marcinek is the one to be ahead of it all, as there's no front wing end plate on the right side of that Sauber. Their race is only going to get more complicated from this point onwards. Elway makes the move on DRS to stay ahead of Yanaldi. But what's going to happen here? No ERS available for Ed Vitt. It's just going to be a stalemate for now. Could we see Gegner get involved in this one? On debut for LSI, using manual gears, as they're not used to, is looking to try and make progress in this race. But the damage is just a little bit too unpredictable from the Sauber. That is a gap made, as now Verf has shown some pace on this medium tyre, has broken away on the final lap. Frantic driven a brilliant race. They've had some curveballs thrown at them, but they've not let it affect them. The strategy looked difficult, and I've doubted it, especially after last week, but I didn't need to. Elwain has held on with absolutely everything they could. They got back in front, and Yanaldi just wasn't able to do anything more. That being said, they've got all the battery in the world to use, all into the final chicane. Is there going to be anything from this in the end? Yanaldi looks to the right-hand side, surely. It's not going to happen. Verf wins the Belgian Grand Prix, but it's Frantic who is the champion in LSI F1.5 EU. Congratulations, the Belgian Grand Prix is yours, but the championship goes to Frantic. For the first time in LSI, they are a champion. Elwain in P2 with another brilliant result, with Yanaldi finally getting on the podium with the P3 for the EU drivers. And that is one title sorted out in LSI. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Verf in P1. It's then Frantic in P2 and Elwain in P3. We've got Yanaldi in P4, Marcinek, Ed Vitt, Gegner, Way 1 Minute, and DNFing earlier on was Bernisen, Fossa and Gledio. Frantic is the LSI F1.5 EU champion, the champion of Europe. No one's better. We'll see in a bit for the post-race interviews. Hello everyone, welcome to the post-race interviews of the Belgian Grand Prix. That was one hell of a race with a very, very awkward strategy. Elwain, a brilliant race from you, another brilliant result, another podium. At the end there, were you really thinking that maybe those soft tyres would die off and you'd have a chance for the victory?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought medium tyres, there's no point soft because every track, the softs only last like 2-3 laps, especially with this track being so long. I was like, hopefully they'll die off and I'll be able to have a chance. But in the end, it didn't really work out and I had to defend from my teammate. So, but yeah, it was a good race, very good race. And well done for Frantic for winning the championship.
And were you confident that you'd have stayed ahead of your teammate?
Like it was 50-50, but like I could tell like his softs were starting to go off, so like I just put myself in the best position possible by going for the move around the outside on the first corner, so then I could definitely get him for that DRS straight.
Yeah, well, you played it well. It was absolutely brilliant. Congratulations on another great result. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thank you.
And we move on to Frantic. Frantic, first of all, the Belgian Grand Prix, another victory. It was good redemption from last week. Just to add to it as well, you took the championship today. No Terence, 20 points, now 40 points ahead. It's impossible for them to get back in front. How was the race, first of all, and then just a word for the championship afterwards? Thank you.
Europe. Well, the race itself, I was really surprised by my qualifying pace. I thought it was going to be, I was going to be a bit slower than that, but I just managed to put in the lap for the first time ever. So I retired the car because I was like, yeah, I'm not going to improve anymore. Which also meant I was able to save a soft set for later in the race, which I was using at the safety car restart, which was very fantastic. Well, Verve caught me a bit off guard, so I had to catch up a bit. So I used my tires to the maximum, so they were dead once I overtook him, which is a shame. But I kind of was like, well, it's how it goes, you know. I'm still P1 in the tier, so that's good. Still, no victory on track. So, well, that's a shame. I was kind of going for the on-track victory, but 2 races to go, who knows. It's a shame Terence couldn't be here for like 2 races in a row now, so that's very unfortunate for him. I'll take the championship though, very happy with that. Very cool. I was like, I'm not good enough to be a champion, but then I heard this voice in the back of my head was like, Frantic, you need to do this, bro. And I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna win this championship. So I did. Very cool.
Just like you just did it.
I just did it. Yeah. Well, my name is Frantic. You know, that's how it goes sometimes. Also, like, cool idea maybe for the LSI channel. You can maybe make a documentary about my career. Maybe it's it's a spin-off episode.
Documentary. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, documentary or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
Yep. So it's gonna be maybe something funny you can do. The viewers will enjoy it because I saw a few of my Frantic gangs in the chat. I think it was Peanuts, of course. I know Zingy is watching as well. He always is. So this one is for my P gang and for the Zingy gang, the Z gang. But yeah, I'm very happy. I'm very pleased.
And moving on to the rest of the season, are you happy with the championship, or are you going to be looking to try and take it from Red Bull? Because that's been no points scored from Red Bull today. You're now very close to taking the double.
Ooh, I kind of forgot about the constructor standings. Well, yeah, as it stands, I'm 25 points behind, so now 5 points, I believe. So yeah, it sounds doable maybe, but Terence is very quick, and I think it's Burnist, and he's very unfortunate today. So I think he's going to score some more points. It will be hard to achieve, but I've got nothing to lose anymore, so I'll go for it. I'll give it my best shot. I really enjoy Hungary, so I'm looking forward to that one. I've been looking forward to it the entire season, so who knows? Who knows?
Awesome. congratulations once again. Thank you very much for the championship that you've driven so far. And now you can go and enjoy the final 2 races of the season as the top dog. Thank you very much, Frantic. Really good job today. And,
Appreciate you.
hoo-ha.
Hoo-ha. Hoo-ha, hoo-ha, hoo-ha.